Hi, I'm Bill Sargent, and this is The Inside Scoop, a podcast about journalists covering the environment under Trump. Now, if anybody has driven through Ipswich on Saturdays at noon, you'll see all kinds of people lining the streets of the Common, anywhere from Ipswich Museum right up to the Choke Bridge. Cars will be honking their horns. Trucks will be honking their air horns. It's a very impressive operation, and I have Dave Russell and Doug Brendel here to tell us what that's all about. So, Dave, why don't you give us a little history of that?
It started back in February on a Saturday. I don't remember if it was the 28th, something there, about a man I know in town. Scott Newell sent me an email at I don't know, like 9:45 saying, "I'm going to go down to the Five Corners and protest. Can you help me or something?" And I was actually going out and didn't have any opportunity to do that. And I was also a little curious, like, okay, can you think of this in an organized way? 'Cause I'm the chair of the Ipswich Democratic Town Committee. His wife's actually a member, and I thought, okay, before we do something, can't we, organize this a little bit? But he kind of, as Governor Pritzker talks about in his speech, said, "Well, I just got to do this." So he went down, and there's a cluster of about 8 people joined, and I heard about it from one of our members who joined in, and there were some pictures, and yeah, it wasn't bad. It was a start. So we said, okay, let's build this, because at that point things had already started around the country a bit in different cities and towns. And the next weekend we had 60, and now I think we've done 10 consecutive, which have ranged from maybe a low of 30 or 40 when it was cold, sleet, to
snow.
We've had a bunch, but we've averaged in the hundreds. I think it was April 5th was the largest one. Estimates vary from 600 to 800. I don't we don't have a turnstile, so I don't quite know what the number was, but it was a lot of people. And I don't think at first when we had a 250 one time, I thought, geez, this is the biggest that's ever happened in Ipswich. And then I heard, well, maybe after the Parkland shooting, there may have been a bigger one then. But now we've done it, going on a dozen times. I doubt that's ever happened. Not that so much matters to kind of break the Guinness Book of World Records for Ipswich, but I think it's just notable that so many people are so concerned persistently. That is something that's kind of unique and worthy of pondering.
And this is the mythology of leadership, because I'm amazed to hear that this is how the thing started, because when I got news that it was happening, I just assumed it all sprang fully blown from your brain, Dave. I thought, wow, that guy.
Yeah. And I think the other interesting thing about it, obviously, it's the purpose is serious, but it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I mean, people are coming back because it's fun. It's fun to get people to blow their horns, and occasionally you'll get digital greetings.
Yeah.
But other than that, I think people are very positive about it. It's kind of bringing the whole community together. I think people look forward to it on Saturdays at noon.
So one of my favorite comments about it is a woman who said it's like an hour of free therapy a week, and we've tried to have the title we use is Rally for Democracy. There's a lot of things that we're against that's going on, but we don't want to be stuck on what we're against. What are we for? And we also want to have it be a fairly broad umbrella. Okay, I'm with Democratic town committee, and we're putting a lot of time and energy into organizing it, but I don't want it to be our exclusive thing. We want it to be anyone who's upset about what's going on, which can come in all sorts of descriptions and with different viewpoints, are very much welcome. That's just healthy, and I think that people like that too, that it's kind of a bottom-up thing. It does take organization, as anything does. I've spent many hours and hundreds of emails and whatnot with different people communicating about it, but it's not an organizational event. It's kind of a bottom-up thing, which is, I think, beautiful. Yeah. And positive and fun, and and not all angry and demonizing the other side. We're sharply critical, of course, what's going on in D.C., but we're not haters. We're not returning hate with hate, and that's very important. That's not who we are and what we want to represent.
Yes. And our other guest is Doug Brendel, and probably everybody knows him as the outsider. So we're welcoming the outsider to the insider. And I think you should consider, you've written so much about the facts and foibles of our little town, that you might need to change your name, because now you're an insider, no matter what.
I don't know. They typically run my column on the same spread as Bob Waite's lightweight column, and he says he's the insider because he was born, raised in. It's curious though that the outsider is living here and the insider lives in Canada, so I don't know how that works. But anyway, most people tell me I'll never be an insider.
Yeah.
As long as I live here.
I've been told you're not supposed to write books about Ipswich unless you've been here for 4 generations.
4 generations, okay, that's the minimum, yeah.
But you're going to have a very special role this coming Saturday, and perhaps you could tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, I reached out to David with a suggestion. When I heard Governor J.B. Pritzker of Illinois deliver his speech on April 27th to the, I guess, Democratic Party workers in New Hampshire.
Right.
I must have read about this in Heather Cox Richardson's blog. That must have been where I picked it up. But I remember I was in an airport. I was traveling, and I wear hearing aids, so I can't really wear earbuds. And so out in public, I use the subtitles on watching a video on my laptop.
Right.
And so I watched the excerpts from Pritzker's speech with no sound. I've never heard the man speak. I greatly admire him, and I'm a recovering Chicagoan. I was raised in Chicagoland, so Pritzker is my guy. But I saw him on the screen with the subtitles, and I felt myself being stirred by the words. It was like, the guy's got a great speechwriter, but you could see in the video that he's not, like, I grew up in theater and a speech major in college and all that. He's not an orator. He's superb as governor of Illinois. He's turned that state around, but he was just laying it out there phrase by phrase, and I thought, oh man, if somebody took this and presented it with the passion and with the skills of a public speaker,
A thespian.
and then it was like ding. And
I know one of those.
I could he was talking to a room full of Democratic workers. And so there was stuff that he said and hit that half hour that wouldn't be appropriate to another audience. But if you pull that stuff out, the heart of the 20-minute, 22-minute heart of the speech was a tremendous call to arms, a call to action for all of us. Mm-hmm. And so I pitched the idea of adding this little I call it a declaration of defiance to the end of this Saturday's demonstration in Ipswich. So we're going to try it. I've ordered some stickers for people that say defy tyranny and no surrender, no apologies, which is the heart of Pritzker's message. But I'm excited about it, not for because I'm doing it, but because this message that Governor Pritzker delivered is so important, I think.
And it's going to be wonderful that you're going to be reading it out on the commons the way our Puritan ancestors used to do.
Yeah, but I don't have to wear a white powdered wig or anything.
We might put you in the stocks afterwards.
Maybe after, yeah, depending on who's in the audience.
Yes. Good. Well, thank you both very much. And for anybody in the audience, you grab your cowbells and come on down this Saturday at noon and demonstrate on the streets. And then afterwards, Doug will be reading Governor Pritzker's piece. And thank you very much.